Rangers supporters gather round because the last day or so inside the club has felt like one of those stretches where every conversation, every whisper, every bit of frustration seems to point back to the same place. There is a real sense in the air that the tension building around the football department has reached a new height, and much of it has landed right at the feet of the sporting director. His role, his choices, and the direction he is steering the squad have come under sharper focus than at any point since he arrived at Ibrox. For many fans, this has not come out of nowhere. It has been bubbling beneath the surface, growing match by match, window by window, until this latest development finally brought it spilling into the public eye. What was once mild concern has now turned into genuine doubt over the leadership guiding Rangers into the future. The recent interview he gave, intended to steady the waters, instead seemed to stir them even more. Supporters who were already uneasy listened closely, hoping for honest reflection, clear responsibility, or at least some acknowledgement of the issues they have been watching unfold on the pitch. What they heard instead felt detached from the reality they have been living through. Many felt the tone missed the mark entirely, and that frustration quickly spread across the fan base. After a summer where the spending was significant and the expectations even higher, performances have simply not matched the narrative of progress he tried to outline. When you speak to Rangers supporters right now, the word that keeps coming up is disconnect. They do not recognize the team being described, nor do they see evidence that the decisions from above are bringing the club closer to where it needs to be. Inside the club structure, the reshaping behind the scenes has also created its own storm. Appointing his own son into a key recruitment position was the moment many fans say their trust began to crumble. Whether the intention was innocent or not, the perception was damaging. At a time when every signing carries heavy weight, giving such responsibility to a family member felt, to many, like a move completely out of touch with the pressures of managing a massive club like Rangers. Supporters have spoken constantly about standards, about professionalism, about needing leadership they can rely on. Instead, they watched the club take a step that made them question whose interests were truly being prioritized. That decision continues to overshadow everything else happening in the football department, and each underwhelming performance only makes the resentment grow stronger. The recruitment over the summer has been another source of frustration. In a period where Rangers needed efficiency, clarity, and impact, too many new faces have struggled to settle or make any meaningful impression. Only a couple of players have shown the kind of spark supporters hope to see, and even those flashes have been inconsistent. The rest, including the striker who arrived for a fee that would make any supporter sit up, have not delivered the kind of influence expected. When a club spends that amount of money, fans expect a signing who transforms the attack, someone who lifts the team in big moments, someone who carries responsibility rather than shrinking from it. Instead, the young forward has looked lost at times, unable to find rhythm or confidence, and the pressure has become heavier with each passing match. The longer the struggles continue, the more questions arise about what the recruitment team saw, what the long-term plan was, and why so much faith was placed in a player still finding his way. Other decisions have added to the unrest. Sending out certain players on loan not long after paying sizable fees for them has left supporters completely baffled. Even if the agreements were arranged before the new season, the outcome feels chaotic. Fans want stability, vision, and a sense that the pieces being brought in fit the larger puzzle. Instead, they see confusion, mixed ideas, and plans that do not seem to connect. Every time a match goes wrong, every time the performances dip, these decisions are dragged back into the spotlight. And with each moment of doubt, the pressure increases. Right now, it feels as if the sporting director is standing at a crossroads with the club, watching closely. He is under heavier scrutiny than ever before in the stands. The mood has shifted from uncertainty to open frustration. Many supporters believe the mistakes of the summer window were so significant that the club is still trying to recover from them. Others feel the communication has been poor, that the explanations given do not match what is happening on the pitch. And when supporters feel unheard, that frustration quickly turns into something deeper. At Ibrox, the relationship between decision-makers and fans has always been central. When that trust breaks, you feel it immediately. The atmosphere around the team reflects this. Every match seems to carry extra weight now. Every missed chance, every dropped point, every lackluster display creates a new ripple of frustration. It is not just about results, but about direction. Rangers supporters do not simply want improvement, they want conviction. They want to see that the people in charge understand the expectations that come with representing a club of this size. Right now, many feel that connection has been lost. As January approaches, the pressure grows even heavier. Supporters know that the next window could be defining. The squad has areas that clearly need addressed, and the margin for error has almost vanished. Some fans believe this upcoming window could determine not only the second half of the season, but also the future of those overseeing recruitment. For the sporting director, this is being viewed as a moment where he must show his understanding of what the team needs, what the supporters expect, and what direction the club must take. There is hope, of course, because Rangers fans always carry hope. But there is also a deep caution, a belief that any misstep could push things to a breaking point. At the same time, the young striker who came in for such a hefty fee continues to be at the center of discussions. His early months have been difficult, and his confidence has clearly taken a hit. The previous manager found it tough to bring out the best in him, and although the new coach is trying to give him opportunities, the return has been minimal. One goal in all his appearances is far from what anyone imagined when he arrived. It is not easy being a young forward carrying such expectation at a club like Rangers, and the pressure surrounding him has only intensified with every quiet performance. Now, with the January window looming, the idea of sending him out on loan has begun circulating. Some see it as a chance for him to rebuild confidence. Others view it as an unnecessary admission that things have gone wrong far too quickly. Supporters are split, unsure whether stepping away for a few months would help or simply signal that the signing has already failed. The discussion has grown even louder as clubs abroad begin monitoring him, watching closely to see whether Rangers are ready to consider temporary options, and the timing only adds more intrigue, especially with the possibility of facing one of those interested teams in Europe right when scrutiny is at its highest. As the conversation continues to build around the forward situation, every small development feels amplified. Supporters have spent weeks debating what the best path might be for him, and each match seems to offer another clue to where his future is heading. He is clearly trying, clearly desperate to make an impact, but for a player carrying such a weighty transfer fee, the expectation is unforgiving. Every touch is analyzed. Every missed opportunity becomes a talking point. and every quiet performance adds to the noise surrounding him. For a young player adapting to a new league, a new environment, and the pressure of performing at a club where patience is always in short supply, the challenge has been immense. It is no wonder that the staff are now wrestling with whether staying at Ibrox or stepping away for a short spell would serve him better. But the suggestion of a loan move has stirred another wave of uncertainty within the support. Some feel a temporary switch could help him rediscover the confidence that has been fading week by week. Others argue that Rangers cannot afford to let a major signing leave so early, especially one who was expected to lead the attack for years to come. The idea that he might move on, even just for half a season, creates a feeling that the signing itself was built on unstable ground. There is fear that any loan would be perceived as an admission that the plan has gone off course, and that only deepens the questions being asked of the recruitment team and the leadership behind it. To complicate matters, the club monitoring him has a familiar connection to Rangers. Facing them soon in Europe only adds to the spotlight on the situation. If he plays against them and delivers the kind of performance Rangers hoped for when they brought him in, their admiration may grow. If he struggles, the scrutiny will intensify yet again. The timing could not be more delicate. Rangers are sitting in a difficult spot in Europe, and supporters are desperate for something to lift the mood. A match that should be about the team could easily become another chapter in the ongoing story of his future. And with the European campaign already faltering, each decision feels heavier. The pressure on the sporting director grows with every twist. Supporters have reached the point where they are demanding clarity, demanding stronger decision-making, and demanding that mistakes are not repeated. The feeling that a rebuild has been mishandled has created an atmosphere where every move is questioned. Even simple choices now carry the weight of the wider mistrust that has settled around the football department. The early months of this season have shown how quickly things can turn when fans feel the club is not being run with purpose and conviction. The divide between what the supporters expect and what they feel they have received has widened, and it will take real action to close it again. Inside the dressing room, the players are doing their best to stay focused on the pitch rather than the noise outside it, but no squad can fully escape this kind of atmosphere when fans are restless, when questions are being asked about long-term direction. That energy eventually filters onto the pitch. Performances begin to reflect the uncertainty swirling around the club. Confidence becomes fragile. Momentum disappears. This has been one of the biggest concerns for supporters, because once that confidence breaks, rebuilding it becomes a long and difficult task. A team that should be pushing forward ends up feeling stuck, trapped between expectation and execution. The coming weeks will be critical for everyone involved. The coaching staff must find a way to raise the level on the pitch, to restore some belief in the squad, and to give supporters something tangible to hold on to. The sporting director must show that he understands the gravity of the moment and that the upcoming window will not follow the same pattern as the last one. And the players, especially those who arrived this summer, must seize their opportunities and show why they were brought to Ibrox in the first place. Rangers cannot afford another period of stalled progress, not when every point, every performance, and every decision is being weighed so heavily. As for the young striker, his journey remains one of the most intriguing pieces in this entire situation. Whether he stays to fight for his place or moves temporarily to find his feet elsewhere, the outcome will shape not only his future, but also how supporters judge the vision behind the signing, if he can turn things around, if he can start showing the qualities that once convinced Rangers to invest so heavily in him, the entire narrative could shift. Fans are eager to see glimpses of what he might become because they know that if he develops as hoped, he could transform the attack for years to come. But if his struggles continue, the pressure will only intensify and the conversations around him will grow even louder. There is a fine line between patience and urgency at a club like Rangers. Supporters are willing to back players who show fight, determination, and growth, but they also expect accountability from those in charge. And right now, accountability is exactly what they are searching for. Every choice being made behind the scenes is under a microscope, and every misstep feels like a setback the club cannot afford. The relationship between the club and its supporters is built on trust, and with that trust weakened, rebuilding it becomes just as important as improving performances on the pitch. This is where the next phase of the season becomes crucial. With key fixtures approaching, opportunities will arise for players to prove themselves, for the coaching staff to strengthen their approach, and for the sporting director to demonstrate that lessons have truly been learned. The fan base may be frustrated, but they are not without hope. Rangers supporters have always stood by their club, always believed in the possibility of resurgence, and always expected a response when things get tough. Now they wait to see whether the people in charge are ready to deliver that response. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Whispers have been swirling Rune Gavan for days, but the latest murmur drifting through the corridors of Ibrox has fairly set tongues wagging. Word is that Rangers have secured the signing of DIVOCK Origi, the former Liverpool forward whose knack for dramatic goals is still spoken of in hushed tones across Merseyside. Nothing has been formally paraded yet. Nay, flashy scarf above the head photo, but insiders close to the club are hinting that the deal is as good as done, with only the fine print left to smooth out. Supporters milling about outside the stadium yesterday were already treating the news as gospel, chatting excitedly about what the Belgian might bring to the front line. A different sort of striker, one fan muttered, the kind that pops up when you least expect it. And it's that sense of unpredictability that seems to have caught the imagination of the Rangers faithful. Origi, after all, built a reputation for delivering when the pressure was thick enough to choke on. And the thought of him prowling the Scottish Premiership has set off a fair bit of giddiness. Inside the club, the chatter is that the staff see him as a missing piece rather than a luxury, a forward with presence, pace, and that unteachable instinct for timing his runs just so. There's been talk that he feels he's got something to prove again after a few unsettled spells abroad, and that Glasgow's intensity might be exactly the spark he's been needing. Of course, there's a sense of caution when any done deal is discussed before the ink dries. Folk have long memories of transfers that slipped away at the last gasp. Still, the rumble is persistent, the sort of buzz that doesn't usually appear unless something concrete is happening behind the scenes. But now the city's blue half is content. They let the rumour mill spin at full tilt. If the signing is indeed all but sealed, Ibrox could soon be welcoming a striker whose name still echoes across Europe, and the anticipation alone is already lifting the temperature in Glasgow's chill November air. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.